Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be going over my 3DS collection with you guys. Also thought I'd show you guys this wicked awesome new 2DS XL. They're selling these for $99 at Walmart now. Brand new, sealed, in the box. I highly recommend going there and picking one up. Obviously Nintendo's trying to get rid of these things, so that's my public service announcement at the beginning of the video. And I'm not gonna waffle about anymore. I'm gonna jump right into the games because that's why you guys clicked on the video. So first up, Animal Crossing New Leaf. Put tons of time in this. Obviously guys, since I'm going through the games so quickly, I'm not gonna be able to talk about them too much, but I will say if it's a game worth playing and, you know, small tidbits here and there. Next up, we have Bravely Default. Definitely a game worth playing, however it gets very grindy at the end to try to finish this game. For that reason, I have not finished it, but I have picked up the sequel, just not opened it. This is sealed. This is Bravely Second, the sequel to Bravely Default. They both play like classic Final Fantasy type games with a job system. Animal Crossing probably needs no explanation at this point. Next up, I have Chibi Robo Ziplash. Terrible game, don't recommend it. Still sealed. However, Chibi Robo on the GameCube is amazing. Detective Pikachu, a later release. It has that awful playable in 2D only. Can't play this in 3D, unfortunate. But a fun kind of Professor Layton style game. I love Pokemon games. You will see that later in the video. Then we have Code of Princess. We of course have a enhanced port of this on the Nintendo Switch. Then we have Dragon Quest VII. Fantastic game. This was on the PS1 and we finally got a nice remake on the 3DS, and of course with Dragon Quest VII, shortly to follow was Dragon Quest VIII, one of my favorite Dragon Quest games of all time. Probably my second favorite. And then my first favorite, believe it or not, is Dragon Quest Builders 2 on the Switch. I know, it sounds crazy, but you gotta give it a chance before you can say anything. And then Dragon Quest XI would be third. Etrian Odyssey Untold. This is a remake of the 3DS. I mean, sorry, not the 3DS, the DS game. And this, there's actually made 5 of these, and there's ports of all of them in the 3DS. It's more of a dungeon crawler. I only have this first one, but I do want to collect more. Next we have Ever Oasis. This is sealed, not because it's a bad game like Chibi Robo, but just because I haven't had a chance to play it yet. I'm actually really excited to play this one. It's kind of got like a Zelda vibe, plus you build your town up. Very cool. Then we have Final Fantasy Explorers. This is like a co-op Final Fantasy game like Crystal Chronicles that just came out for the Switch, but I have not gotten a chance to play this. I don't know if I'm gonna have anyone in my life that wants to play through this game with me co-op, but we'll find out. Fire Emblem Awakening. This game got a lot of people into the series, really kind of revitalized Fire Emblem. Fantastic game, probably my favorite on the 3DS. Now, I only have one other Fire Emblem game on the 3DS, though I want to get Echoes and Birthright. I only have Conquest. The story of Conquest appealed to me more than Birthright because in Fire Emblem Conquest, you choose your allegiance with the people that raised you, not just the people who you are related to but didn't raise you at all your whole life. And I thought that was more meaningful. So let me move some of these over to here. I'm keeping them all in alphabetical order, of course. Next up, Hey Pikmin. This is also sealed because it was a later release, so I have not gotten around to it yet. Not heard tremendously good things about it. Not as good as regular Pikmin games for sure. This, however, might be my favorite Kirby game. It's a lot of people's favorite. Planet Robobot. You get to play as Kirby in mechs and also normal Kirby gameplay that we love with really cool power-ups. So it's no surprise that this is a lot of people's favorite Kirby game. Next up, we've got my Zelda games. I always put Zelda under L for Legend of Zelda. A Link Between Worlds. This is kind of like the spiritual sequel to A Link to the Past. Very similar kind of gameplay. This is fantastic. Then we have Majora's Mask 3D, a remake of the N64 classic. And of course, Ocarina of Time 3D. Now this is sealed only because I play this regularly on the N64, so I haven't actually tried the 3DS version, but I have my N64 set up. I actually have a complete set of N64 games. Maybe we can go over that in a video sometime. Then we have Triforce Heroes. Again, haven't opened this. This is like a 3-player Zelda game, but very, very bad. Probably one of the worst rated Zelda games in the franchise. Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. I don't have Luigi's Mansion 1 because I have it on the GameCube. But obviously the sequel is a 3DS exclusive. We have Luigi's Mansion 3 now on the Switch as well. And then we have the Mario and Luigi games. So right now I just have Mario and Luigi Dream Team and Mario and Luigi Paper Jam, which incorporates Paper Mario into an actual RPG style game. I want to get the others, which would be Bowser's Inside Story and I believe one more. However, I'm not acquired those as of yet. So, okay. This would be the next pile. So we're not even halfway through here. We've got Mario Kart 7. I mean, I don't even know what else I could possibly say about that one. Just a classic game. We have Metroid Samus Returns. This was also a later release on the 3DS, but obviously this is a game I wanted to crack open for sure. It's a remake of Metroid 2 on the Game Boy. And then, let me know if I'm remembering that wrong. It's kind of flying off the top of my head trying to make this video as concise as possible. Then we have Miitopia, hilarious game. Wicked, wicked fun. Highly recommend it. Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. I put a lot of hours into this game. If you've played any Monster Hunter, you've kind of played them all. But yeah, this one actually has a manual too, which is really nice. This was one of like the very first few 3DS games I got, so that's why I ended up putting so much time into it. Monster Hunter Stories. This is more of a Pokemon style Monster Hunter game, so if that's kind of your thing, I definitely recommend it. It's definitely fun in my opinion. But I also know a lot of people that kind of were meh on this game, so definitely look up reviews before you just go out and buy it. New Super Mario Bros. 2. What can I say? Classic 2D Mario on a Nintendo handheld. Can't go wrong. This is the one that had like a bajillion coins in all the levels. That was kind of the gimmick. Paper Mario Sticker Star. Do not recommend. This is probably the worst Paper Mario game. Definitely, I would say worse than Color Splash. So probably stay away from it, but I can understand any curiosity given the current popularity of the new game, which has gotten mixed reviews. Then we have Persona Q. That's right, a Persona game on a Nintendo handheld device. This is a cross between Persona and, as we showed earlier, the Etrian Odyssey style of gameplay. It takes all the characters from Persona 3 and 4 in kind of that Etrian Odyssey formula. And then, of course, when Persona 5 was so popular, they decided to make Persona Q2, and this actually incorporates Persona 5 characters, as you can see from Joker, featured prominently on the cover. However, these games take a long time to play. This is still sealed. Oh, it includes the buttons. Isn't that nice? Next up, okay, here we go. Pokemon games. Get ready for these. Alright, so we're going to start with Pokemon Alpha Sapphire. And if this needs to be mentioned, I would obviously recommend all of these games. So we've got Pokemon Alpha Sapphire and Pokemon Omega Ruby. Of course, I have both. Then we're going to have Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon. Alright, and if you were worried that I would skimp out on the premium versions of both of those, don't you worry. We have Pokemon Ultra Sun and Pokemon Ultra Moon. Oh, that is not the right way to hold those. There we go. You got an interesting look at the back of these upside down, because I'm not going to edit that out, because you know what? That's classic comedy. You can all appreciate that. Next up, oh, still got the stickers on here. Gonna have to fix that. We have Pokemon X and Pokemon Y. So that would be pretty much it for the mainline Pokemon games that were released on the 3DS. But do you think that's all the Pokemon games I have? Come on, have you been watching the channel? We've got Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon. Now there are other Pokemon spin-off games that I don't have yet for the console. But obviously I'm going to try to pick those up at some point if I can get them for a cheap price. I like to get a lot of my games when they're really cheap, when no one's interested in buying them. And right now, people are kind of still interested in the 3DS. It's kind of starting to get more nostalgic, so the prices are starting to go back up. Then we have Return to Popol LaCroix Story of Seasons. Story of Seasons is Harvest Moon. The people that made the original Harvest Moon sold the name. They're now called Story of Seasons. The Story of Seasons. But Popol LaCroix was actually a PSP game that I have and love. So this is a cross between that and Story of Seasons. Obviously it's sealed. I haven't played it, but it's definitely something that when I found out about it was very excited about. And so if you've played either of those games, you probably already have this. And if you haven't, it probably wouldn't do much for you anyways, but it's something I'm excited to play. Then let's see, we have, oh, am I out of order a little bit? I might be, but that's okay. We have Project X Zone and Project X Zone 2. Now these take up tons of Capcom, Sega characters, put them all together, like, you know, Street Fighter, whatever, just in this massive mashup. Like, this is kind of like Super Smash Brothers level into a strategy RPG. So that would basically play kind of like Fire Emblem. So if you're into some of the franchises in here, if you're into like Capcom franchises or Bandai Namco's in here as well, it's definitely really cool to see all these characters combined into one game. And is Resident Evil in here too? Yeah, it looks like it is. Mega Man. Yeah. Lots of different franchises in here. That could have a video all of its own. They did make obviously 2 of those games. There's 1 and then 2, the sequel. Speaking of Resident Evil Revelations. This is not the misprint copy. The misprint copy actually misspells Revelations on the spine. But this is probably the best looking 3DS game ever made. And that's why it's in my collection, even though I have this game on the PlayStation 4. Which would obviously be better graphics, but look at that, manual and everything. Definitely a fantastic game. All right, and we're starting to get into the last little stack here. We're gonna have Shantae and the Pirate's Curse. If you don't know the Shantae games, really fun platforming games, and they have a female lead, so that's really cool. I just wanted to look inside this one for a second. Yeah, there is a manual. I think a lot of the 3DS games have manuals, but I know a lot of them also don't have manuals. As a collector, I like to see that. Shin Megami Tensei 4, one of the best games on the console. This one I would absolutely recommend. It's an RPG, it kind of plays like Pokemon, except instead of collecting monsters, you collect demons in hell. But if you played Persona, very similar. Unfortunately, no manual for this one. Very similar to Persona games. It's obviously, this is the game that Persona was made based on. So Shin Megami Tensei was the original series. Persona was a spin-off to Shin Megami Tensei. And this has more Pokemon-like gameplay than Persona. Fantastic series. Now, this is one of my favorite games on the system. However, the best game, and this copy right here is sealed, although I have played through it. This is my favorite game on the whole system. Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse, and I'll probably leave this copy sealed because it's that much of a special game to me. I have duplicates of some of these games, the multiplayer ones, in a different place, so my open copy of this is somewhere else, but fantastic game. That is one I would definitely recommend. But you gotta play the first one first. You can't jump right into the sequel. It's not gonna really make sense. Good old Steel Diver launch title. This one's probably worth it because even now you can get this for probably just like $2 or $3. Wicked cheap. And it's honestly not a bad game. So for $2 or $3, yeah, worth it. Even if you only play it for an hour, right? That's like good value for your money. Stella Glow, another RPG by Atlas, obviously makers of Shin Megami Tensei, Persona, a lot of games you've seen on here. This one is probably a little more fan servicey. It's a strategy RPG, kind of like Fire Emblem. Again, that would be the go-to game people know of from that genre. But I would recommend this one too if you like that genre, for sure. I love this game. And then, you can't have a 3DS without Super Mario 3D Land. And this is a game that we'll probably never see ported to the Switch because they would probably port Super Mario 3D World. So it's pretty cheap for the 3DS. Definitely recommend it. Okay, I had a small edit there because I did have a cough. But next up, Super Smash Bros. For Nintendo 3DS. This was kind of to go alongside the Wii U version. This would be the 3DS version of Smash 4. And at the time this came out, it was really cool to be able to play a full Smash game on a handheld. But now we have Smash Ultimate for the Switch, so I wouldn't recommend it if you have Smash Ultimate and you have a Switch. But if you don't, then I guess I would recommend it. But because Smash Ultimate's on the Switch, you can get it for pretty cheap now. Yes, more Final Fantasy spin-offs. This is Final Fantasy Theater Rhythm. And this is just a rhythm game, but with kind of chibi Final Fantasy characters. It has lightning, cloud, so popular characters you would know, and a lot of wonderful music from the Final Fantasy series. And they actually made a sequel as well, Theater Rhythm Final Fantasy. It's not a tongue twister at all. Curtain Call, obviously Curtain Call, meaning the series has ended. Probably this will be the last game we'll get. But that's cool that they made a second game. Let's see, we've got 4 games left. 3 of them are from the same franchise. And one of them is actually my most expensive game that I own for the 3DS. First is Tom Clancy Ghost Recon Shadow Wars. And this is not my type of game. As you can see, it kind of doesn't fit with the collection. But this was actually included for my first 3DS that I bought. There was a few games included. This was one of them. It was a loose cartridge, but I was actually able to find a case for really cheap. Oh no, you know what I did? I found the game for less than $5. So I just bought the game for $5 and put my extra cartridge in the case. Let me see. Is it multiplayer though? That would be really cool. Doesn't look like it. But hey, if I need an extra copy of that cartridge, got it right there. It just, as a collector, I gotta have the case if I can. Okay, so final 3, all same series. We've got Yokai Watch, the original game. This is very cheap. A lot of people think of this as a Pokemon ripoff, but it's actually doing something really different and unique. And if you think of it as a Pokemon ripoff, you'll be disappointed because it doesn't feel like Pokemon when you play it. But it's still a really fun game. Just go into it knowing that it's its own thing, and you can get this pretty cheap even now. And then Yokai Watch 2. There was actually 3 different versions of Yokai Watch 2 released. I have Fleshy Souls, and you can see this is sealed. I haven't played it. I actually want to get the other ones, which was Bony Spirits, and then something Spectral. Let me know in the comments if you know what it was, but I would like to get all 3 versions because I do kind of adore this series. And though I haven't played this one that I have played a little bit because I was just too excited, I want to see what they were doing with the series, is Yokai Watch 3. Now this is the most expensive game in my collection for whatever reason. It's not like crazy expensive. It's not my whole collection, just of my 3DS collection. It's a less than $100 for sure. Actually, Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse might be getting up there as well. But the graphics are just surpassing Pokemon and getting really good with this. And if you look up trailers for Yokai Watch 4, that is a game I am super hyped to be coming to the Switch. So I gotta play through 2 fully and then play through 3 fully, so I'm ready for that when it does come out. But yeah, Yokai Watch 3. Don't recommend it for the price. If you can get it like on Nintendo's eShop for the 3DS for a playthrough, that probably would be the way to go if you're not a collector like me. If you are a collector like me though, you gotta have that physical copy. So anyways guys, this was my 3DS collection. As you can see, I've got a lot more collections behind me. If you have any votes for what my next collection video should be, let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video and you're not subscribed, I hope that you would consider subscribing to the channel, and definitely drop a like, drop me a comment. Let me know any games that I don't have that you would recommend. I would very much be interested in hearing about that. Well, anyways guys, I hope you have a great one, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye-bye.